In the third part of the documentary about Soviet vehicle gasifiers on this channel, I mentioned gasifiers running on raw wood. In fact, on 50% humid freshly caught wood. However, absolutely impossible tasks were sometimes set in the USSR. For example, to make a gasifier for 50% humid raw wood that should not be crushed, in fact, on 50 centimeter long logs. In the USSR, wood-powered vehicles worked mostly at logging bases. According to the government order, gasoline-powered vehicles were not supposed to operate there. Machinery should have run only on firewood. Why do you need gasoline if there's wood all around? Drive on firewood. You would be surprised, but even nowadays I get a lot of requests to develop a gasifier for half-meter long and even wet logs. So, there is obviously a need for them. Let's look at this type of gasifier. Several such gasifiers were made in the USSR for boats and vehicles. This patent shows one of them. The patent was filed by Comrade Ivakin on January 20, 1950. The date means a lot because the engineers working with gasifiers in those years absorbed all the knowledge of previous gasifier developments. Designs made in the 1920s are nothing compared to designs of the 1950s. This is the only Comrade Ivakin's work. I have not heard of him anywhere else. Maybe he was a co-author of some other developments, but I could find no reference to his name in my library. Today, gasifiers with 3 tuyere belts allow to make tarless gas. Comrade Ivakin applied the same technique to combat wood moisture back in 1950. In general, the methodology of calculating each tuyere belt's diameter and cross-section and the distance between the tuyeres was described in detail only in one Soviet work. Its authors practically studied ways of air supply by several tuyere belts. They described and substantiated the relevant calculation methods. Gasifiers with several tuyere belts are a modern trend. But no one describes the calculation methods in modern scientific articles because it is precious know-how. I have read almost all modern works on this subject, and none of them mentions how and why the diameters of holes and distances between them should be calculated. Ivakin has come close to understanding the importance of multiple tuyere belts, as has engineer Krohn, whom I've talked about in the past videos. To remove moisture from raw wood, a pipe is attached to the gasifier top which sucks the water vapor out of the gasifier hopper. There are 2 controlled flaps attached to this pipe. The water vapor is sucked out by engine exhaust ejection. The upper part of the pipe is made open, and the lower part is connected to the ejector. A driver, sitting in the cabin, regulates the amount of moisture ejected from the upper part of the hopper by opening and closing 2 flaps in the water vapor suction pipe. The gasifier has a rectangular shape to simplify loading firewood and enable laying it in even in dense rows. 50 cm long firewood was usually taken as a calculation base at that time. The size of the gasifier was adjusted to this length. In Figure 2 you can see that the gasifier hopper is rather long than wide. This is designed to lay firewood in even rows. Figure 1 shows 2 flaps, through which air, heated from the gasification chamber outer wall, is supplied to the tuyeres. The hopper's upper part also provides an air layer to keep the hopper top hot and heat the wood. I'd appreciate it if you drop me a few donation coins for my efforts. My payment details are in the description below the video. See you soon.